Okay. Hey people. So, Syphon filtered the Omega Strain, the game that had co-op online gameplay, uh, which was shut down when Sony shut down the PS2 servers a long time ago. This game has been revived. The online for this game is now back up again. It was done by a programmer named One Up and his team. They managed to make a server for the game and bring it back online. Actually, their server supports multiple games like SOCOM, Killzone, and other many other games. So I'll leave a invite link to their Discord in this video's description. Please check their Discord, support these amazing people. Thank you guys for bringing this game back online. This happened in January 2021. Uh, like it's been near a month now at the time of this recording. I haven't been able to connect, but today I managed to connect. I finally am now able to play this game correctly. So I faced many problems during that process while trying to fix and diagnose what the issue was. And so I decided to make a guide video to hopefully help other people who want to play this game online, and maybe if other people had the same problems that I had, then this video will hopefully help you. So I made a list right here of the bullet points that we need to go through to set this up. uh, yeah so first of all, we need to collect the pieces, which are like the stuff you need to download and figure out and put together before you perform the steps to actually connect online. And if you face problems, then these are a bunch of alternatives that might help you. So, yeah, let's begin. First of all, obviously you need the emulator. Oh, by the way, you can play this game on PC using the PCSX2 emulator, which is this program right here. Or you can play it on original PS2, or you can play on PS3 using the backwards compatible PS3, the one that literally has a PS2 chip inside it. So this guide will be mostly for the emulator, and this works for Syphon Filter, the Omega Strain, the NTSCU USA version, the PAL version, and the Korean version. So all versions of Syphon Filter Omega Strain are now online playable. Okay, so like I said, first you need the emulator. This should be easy enough. Just Google it. Um, yeah, go to their page, download. Right here, Windows. If you're using Windows, there's the standalone installer. You can download it from here, and there's the binary. You can download it from here. Difference is the installer. When install it, I use the installer, so it's gonna install it like this. See, this is the PCSX2. If I right click on it and go to file location, there's half of the folders right here, which are in the path of program files, and the other half of the files, or folders I should say, is in the documents folder right here, documents, PCSX2. This is the other half, BIOS, cheats, mem cards, all those stuff. This is if you use installer. You'll have half of them in documents and the other half in program files. But if you use the binary, which is basically a folder compressed and contains the emulator files installed already, you don't need to install it. It's pre-installed inside the file, so you'll have all of them in one place. Either version work, both of them work, so wouldn't worry about it. I just wanted to point that out because if you find it your settings different from me, Just look for the other half of the files and documents if you don't find it in the main directory right here. Okay. Second, you need the game itself. You, like I said, USA version, PAL version, Korean version. Download any one of those. Obviously use a CD. If you want to download the ISO file, I'll put a link to that in the description. And you also need PS2 BIOS. I will link those in the description too. Um, as of my testing, all versions like Korean, PAL, USA, they all work with USA BIOS, so just set it to that and leave it as it is. Um, then we have to download the CLR Dev 9 plugin, which is it should be easy enough. I will link that in the description, but keep in mind that it gets updated regularly, so you might wanna, like, in the future, if you want to update it, you go to their website just like this. I just Google CLR Dev 9. It's a GitHub page. There are two GitHub pages. The one that says releases, yeah, this one will show you the latest release, which is version 0.9.0. This is where you download it from. If you're using Windows 64-bit, download this one. If you're using 32-bit, then download this one. After you download it, you should have it should give you this file, clrdev9.dll. You should pay attention to the extension, which is the .dll. Real quick, go to View, File Name Extensions, check this. If you check it, it'll show you the extension of all the files. Like this file is pnac, this is txt, this is, see, there's another one called CLR dev9, but it's I. We'll get to that later, but right now what I'm talking about is this, the DLL. So this is the plugin. Copy that after you download it. Go to the PCSX2 directory, plugins folder, right click and paste. I'm not gonna paste it now because I already did that, so I already have it right here, but you should. After you put the plugin, the next step would be to download npcap. Again, I will link that in the description, but if it gets updated, you can just find it right here. Yeah, npcap, it's WinPCAP. Well, same thing. I think they are the same. Yeah, they are the same. So WinPCAP for Windows 10. Download, and see, this is the Microsoft Windows section. This is the Linux. This is Mac OS. So if you're using Windows, this is section for Windows, and this in particular is the download link. You click on this, it'll download the WinPCAP setup, install it, and you should be good. Next we have the download video plugins. Here's the thing, when you boot up the emulator and you boot up Omega Strain, and then you go and click on play online, it's gonna show you something called NetGUI, which is basically the configuration software for the network adapter of the PS2, since you are emulating the PS2 on the emulator. So it's the adapter is being emulated, but you need to set that up. So the screen for that setup, for that network configuration, is going to be messed up. It doesn't display correctly. You barely can see what you're doing. So this is basically a fix for that. These video plugins. The files I'm talking about, like after you download them, I'll link them in the description too. You download them. There are 3 files, this one and this one and this one. Copy those and go to, again, there are plugins .dll, there are plugins. Go to the plugins folder, right click and paste. You probably already have all 3 of them, so I suggest copying the original ones and backing them up in case something goes wrong. before you replace them with the new ones I provided. I know they look the same, but the ones I'm putting in the link are different. They provide a fix for that screen issue. Yeah, okay. Then command prompt, we'll go to command prompt, which is cmd. Yeah, this is the command prompt. Type in IP config, hit enter. It'll show you the IPv4 address, which is your PC's IP address. This is mine. Yours shouldn't be the same. Like, what I mean is it can be the same, but it can also be different. So this is just an example. This is my case. Yours can be anything, but it's mainly 192, 168. But after that, those numbers can be different for you. And you also need the default gateway, which is this address right here. We'll get to that later, but wait a minute. Let me check on the recording, see if it works correctly. Yeah, everything seems fine. Okay, so now we got our PC's IP and our default gateway, which is the next step. PC IP, default gateway. This is the PS2 IP. We'll get to that later, but you do need it. Okay, next we have one up. This is the name of the guy, as mentioned, the guy who created the server, him and his team in their Discord. They provided the DNS for their server, which is this address. And also you need the port they provided. This is the port 10075, and the type of that port is UDP. Okay, so if you got all of these, the emulator, the game, whichever version of the game, the BIOS, online plugin, PCAP, video fix, the IPs here, and the server information, DNS and port, you should be set. You put all these together, and now I'll show you how to use all of these stuff you downloaded to make them connect online for Syphon filter. So let me just close all this mess here. Let me clean my screen. You go away. Okay, so this is the emulator. Boot it up. If you're booting it up for the first time, it'll show you a wizard guide, but since this is not my first time, so I'll just go to config, plugin BIOS selector. It should show you this screen. This is the plugins screen. What I'm interested in is this, the dev9. Select the plugin for online that you downloaded, which is CLR dev9. This is the one I'm selecting. So yeah, and then go to BIOS, choose the BIOS that suits you. I think all of them work. I didn't test all of them, but I know this one works perfectly fine with all versions: Korean, European, the PAL version, and the US version. So after you did that, go to config, dev9, plugin settings, enable Ethernet, check that. Even if you're using Wi-Fi, just enable Ethernet. Leave HDD alone. Go to the first option, and you should be prompted with this menu. Here you have WinSock, WinPCAP switch. Remember when we installed NPCAP? That's the purpose. We need WinPCAP bridged because I think that's the one that works most compatibly. Yeah. In the adapter, if you're using Wi-Fi, choose Wi-Fi. I'm using Ethernet, so I'm choosing Ethernet. Check this mark, intercept DHCP. So the PS2 IP, remember we talked about that here. I said I'll get back to that later. So this is the PS2 IP. Basically, what you do is, like in the command prompt, you got your PC IP, which is this one. Okay, copy this, paste it here. 192, leave that alone. 168, leave that alone. Whichever number you have here, I have 5, so I left it like that. but the last 3 digits, you should change them. Make them different from your PC's IP. See, this is the PS2 IP, and this is your PC's IP. So make those different only in the last 3 digits. You can choose numbers between 0 and 255, and you just I mean I chose 200 because that worked for me. You can choose any number you want, anything other than the one written here in the last digit of your IP. And if it has a problem, it'll show you an error when you boot up the game. If that happens, keep changing the numbers until it works. Okay. After that, leave the check marks here and here and here. Uncheck this box. Like it was like this. You need to uncheck it. This is the DNS. So like I said, one up provided the DNS for his server, which is this one. Copy that and paste it right here, just like I did. Alright, so hit apply after that, apply here, and we should be done with setting up the Dev9 plugin. Next step we have is the firewall. I don't think this is necessary, but just to be safe, you want to make sure that your firewall is not blocking your port from connecting or being connected to. So search control panel, yeah, another search here, type in firewall. You have now Windows Firewall Defender. It'll show up here. So first step, go to this option, allow an app or feature through Windows Defender Firewall. Get in, scroll down, you should find the PCSX2 emulator right here. I have multiple ones because I think I reinstalled the emulator multiple times, but whichever number you have, all the PCSX2, see these boxes in front of them, check them both. I don't think you need to, but again, I want to make sure that the port doesn't get blocked, so I checked both boxes. If you don't find your emulator, the PCSX2 here, then you can go to change settings, allow another app, browse, and basically navigate to your C program files, or yeah, right here, yeah, and choose this. Okay, and give it a place in the menu and check the boxes for it. And if you're using binary, then wherever you save that binary folder, check that and choose it and check the boxes. Okay, so let's go back a step. When we typed in firewall and we saw these settings, there's this setting called advanced settings. So here you have inbound and outbound rules. In the inbound, click on it, then right click on it, new rule. You want to open your port. So this is your port. Choose a port here. Next, like I said, it says here UDP, so choose UDP. The port itself is 175 right here. Next, allow connection. Next, all of these should be checked. Next, name it anything, for example TOS ports, just for the sake of example, and click finish. I'm not going to click finish because I already have a rule that I made, so I don't need to make a new one, but yeah. And in the outbound rule, same thing, click on it, then right click on it, new rule, and it's basically the same process. UDP, put the number here, next, allow connection, next, check all of these, next, name it anything, preferably something different, and that should be it. Again, I'm not going to click finish because I already have a rule for that, so let's just move on. Okay, we're done with firewall here. So next step is the router. So you need to go to your router. The way to do that is this default gateway, this number, copy that to your browser. Okay, go to your browser right here. I already have it in there, but you should type it manually. Hit enter. go on your router, like physically flip your router. It should be written behind it on a label, the username and the password. Of course, you can change them later, but if you haven't changed them, then they should be written on the router. If your ISP provider installed your router for you and he changed them, then you can call him and ask him what did he change them to. So mine are already changed, so I don't have to go to the router. I already memorized mine and I'm in the router. Bear in mind that each router is different, so try to look for similarities as close as possible to what I'm doing here. But basically what you need to do is look for forwarding. See that option? So forwarding, virtual server, and add a new service port. So add a new virtual server. So I already have one, but I'll show you how I did it. Add a new one. Here you type this number 10075, which I got from here. This is the port number. In here you type the same number. Your IP address, use the one you set for PS2, not the one for your PC. You got, like, I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about the one we put in here, which is the same as this one, but different digits, different last 3 digits. So dev9 plugin options, this is what I'm talking about. Copy that and put it in here. Okay, your protocol should be UDP, just like it says in here, and you should be good. After that, make sure this is enabled and just click save. If I click save now, it's not gonna let me, because like it says, the entry already exists. So this is my entry, this is the one. I can click modify, you can see for yourself. This one gets deleted for some reason, but it doesn't matter, so I'll just leave it like that. Anyway, now that basically what you did now, like everything before this step was to just set up the online plugin, connect to lobby, pass DNS. But after you do that, you can even host a game, but nobody can join you, and you can't join people unless you do port forwarding, or at least that's how I understand it. So basically, port forwarding here is allowing you to connect to other people. Next we have router access, we did that. Port forwarding, we did that. The net GUI. Okay, so this is the thing inside the emulator, the one with the messed up screen that I was talking about, and I put the video plugins that fixed it. I will show you right now how we do the net GUI. You can see right here I'm using Syphon Filter Megastrain, the NTSCU version. Greatest hits, doesn't matter if it's greatest hits or not. It's basically the same. It depends on the BIOS. Like you just have to set the net GUI once for the BIOS. If you change the BIOS, you're gonna have to set it up again and save it on the memory card. It's pretty easy, you'll see in a second. So my game selected is, yes, it's the USA version, and let's put it up. Let me lower the volume so that you can hear me talk. Okay. Load agent. This is my male cobra, female cobra. Let's go to the male cobra. Play online. Yeah. You can see I already have this TOS GUI. I just named it like that. You can name it to anything. I already set it up, but in your first time trying to connect, you're not gonna see this screen. You're gonna see another screen telling you to set it up. But I can access that screen from here. If I press circle, I can launch the net GUI config app. So I'll press circle now. Yes, this is the screen that you'll be prompted with in the first time you try to access online. Click yes. Yeah, this screen would have been messed up if I hadn't done the video plugin fix. So, what you need to do is add setting, okay? Click right, X, right, X. This should be not required, so X. Leave this at auto, so press X and right, X, right. Change the name to whatever you want, or just leave it as it is, doesn't matter. Click right. Right now, if I press X, it's gonna save this configuration. I already have a configuration saved, so I'm not gonna press X. I'll press circle and get out of here. But now you already know what to do. Okay, let's quit. Next step is gonna be login, which is okay. I'll show you in a minute. Just waiting for the game to load. It's gonna reload. Yeah, load agent. Play online. Okay, so after you did the net GUI, it should appear right here. Like now you can see I already have one. Press X. It's now going to try to connect to the lobby, and next is going to try to pass DNS, which is the authentication process for Sony games. And it should pass right about now. Yep, retrieving universe region list. That means it works. Yeah, this is the policy. You can see welcome to the SOCOM online project. This server was made for SOCOM at first, but OneUp and his team included Syphon filter later, so ignore that. Just hit accept and then hit accept again. Now this is the login page. The login page, this is your username. You can change it to anything. But bear in mind, once you change it, you're gonna have a user and here a password, an account in the server. You can't use it somewhere else, okay? So, it should be pretty easy. Just do it, register, and then log in. Before that, you would be choosing a region. It's all easy, like stuff you don't need to see. I can't show you because I already did them, but they shouldn't be that hard. Just press X and next, and that's it. This is my T4 character. This is Omega Strain. For example, the first mission, cartridge 1. Hit X. I can create a game. I can join a game. So this is me creating a game. As you can see, I can determine the number of agents and begin mission. As you can see, it's a success. I already made it all the way to creating a game. Maybe someone will join me and we can test that, but I was just playing a game right before recording this video, so I know for a fact that it works. Anyway, so that's about it. Yeah, like if you made it so far, this is all you need to do and be able to connect online. But it's not going to be that easy, not for everybody. Some people will encounter problems, like sometimes you can't pass DNS. So if you can't pass DNS, here's what you need to do. I will link in the description these 3 files. This one, the PNAC files. This one is for USA. See, TOS and TSCU DNS bypass. It bypasses the DNS. This one is for the Korean version, yes, and this one is for the PAL version. Whichever version you use. For example, let's say I'm using the US version. I need this one. Copy that. Go to, in my case, it's documents, the cheats folder. I'll delete this one and put this is the one for US. After I put this in here, I have to go to the emulator and enable cheats. And yeah, so in case you can't pass DNS, this will bypass DNS. Obviously, after every change you do in the Dev9 plugin, enable cheats or whatever, just restart the emulator, start it again, and this will pass DNS for you. Alright, so this is one of the problems which I covered in here, DNS bypass. There is also DMZ. Sometimes, like, this happened for me. Like, even after all the fixes, I still can't connect to people unless I enable DMZ. DMZ is demilitarized zone. It basically disables your firewall, so you're pretty vulnerable. But I think, I'm not sure, if someone is tech savvy, please correct me on this. If you, like, yeah, go to the router, just like here, go to DMZ, try, in your router it could be in someplace different, but in my router it's right here. So in DMZ, if you put the PC IP, then you're going to be vulnerable, but I put the PS2 IP. See that? I think that doesn't make me vulnerable to, I don't know, like, it's safer, I guess. If someone is tech savvy, correct me on this. Anyways, just to be safe, when I play Omega Strain, I enable DMZ, but when I don't play Omega Strain, I just disable it. Okay? So, yeah. And then click save, and that should be it. It's disabled. But if you have, like, only enable it if you're having connection problems. Like, you can't connect to people, people can't connect to your game, they can't join you. Yeah, so that's what DMZ does. WinSock. Oh boy. Okay, so WinSock works. It can bypass DNS, but oh, actually, it can't pass DNS. Yeah, WinSock can't pass DNS. So if you want to choose WinSock, I'll show you right here. Dev9 plugin options. Here's WinSock. If you set it like this, then you need to use something called the CLR Dev9 server. See, the plugin itself, where is that? Wait a minute. Let's just cancel this. The plugin itself, yeah, plugins. Yeah, this plugin, CLR Dev9, it has, I believe, like, I don't think I understand it correctly, but a very smart guy told me that this plugin has a built-in server. I don't know what that means, but like, from what I can get, I guess there's a virtual server inside it or something. So if your ISP is blocking is blocking you from bypassing DNS and doesn't let you connect, then you can reroute to your Dev9 internal server. How do you do that? Here's a file right here. This is it. The CLR. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. This CLR Dev9 INI. Copy that and go to Documents, PCSX2, INIs. You already have one. Delete that. Okay. And after you delete it, replace it with the one you just copied, the one I'm gonna link in the video description. So basically what that does is reroute your connection to the built-in server. Okay, so this INI folder, I'll give you the one that I used earlier. It has my IP right here. See that? My PS2 IP. So whatever you said your PS2 IP in here, this, copy that and paste it in this this spot instead of this selected address. The rest should be fine. Yep, it all should be fine. Shout out to Hashsploit, he wrote that for me, so thank you, man. Yeah, this is one of the solutions if you're having problems with DNS. But the other problem is going to arise that, like, you're going to be using WinSock and you're going to be bypassing DNS using the server, the built-in server, but you're not going to be able to connect to everybody. Like, you're going to have a very limited amount of people, that only those who enable DMZ, and you can play with one person at a time. You can't play with 2 or 3 people. So, but it's better than nothing. Like if you're having major problems, like you can't connect at all, then this is better than nothing. Um, Next, you have VPN. Basically, if you have an ISP issue, if your ISP is using carrier grade NAT, and is blocking you from joining people, connecting to them, then try using a VPN, any free VPN. Just set it up right. That should help you. Uh, the Chemo plugin is basically emulating the original mic from the PS2. This is pretty optional, but I'm just throwing it out there because it's part of the package of our line. Finally, ISP. I put that here because all these solutions, like they were half solutions. Like I either bypass DNS and can't connect to people, or like I use WinPCAP, which makes me connect to people, but I can bypass DNS, and all sort of problems arise. So turns out that my ISP was blocking my connection using NAT. I tried contacted them. Maybe if you have my same problem and you contact your ISP, they would solve it for you, but I didn't go that deep with them. I simply just changed my ISP, and the new one I changed to didn't have so much restrictions, and that solved all my problems. So maybe consider that. And again, if you can change ISP, switch to Plan B, which is using VPN. But to me, I didn't know how to set up VPN, so maybe that should be another guide somewhere else, like someone explaining to you how VPNs work, because VPNs have a different DNS, a different IP, and you need to put that in the plugin. So that's a whole rabbit hole that maybe I'll do a separate video on later. But for now, like this is what it is. If your problem is ISP related, try contacting them. If they don't solve it for you, change your ISP. If changing your ISP doesn't solve a problem, keep changing ISPs until you find one that works. Maybe use 4G or 5G connection, or maybe use VPN. So yeah, that should be about it. Oh, one more thing. Um, the PAL version works just like the US version, but the Korean version doesn't work unless you use the DNS bypass PNAC, which is, let me see. Oh, there's look at this mess on the screen. Let me just shut down everything here. Um, yeah, yeah, we don't need those anymore. Yeah, I'm talking about this PNAC file, which is, like I said, the DNS bypass. Korean version doesn't work unless you use this file. Okay, so yeah, see that TOS Korean DNS bypass. Copy that, like I said, copy that, go to wherever your cheat folder is, which is right here. Mine is here. This is my PNAC for US. My US version connects without the need of a bypass. So I'll just put this one here. Oh, by the way, you can go on the PNAC itself, like this, and just do this. This will disable the cheats. So for example, I want to play the Korean version, so I can't have both USA bypass and Korean bypass working at the same time. So by doing this step, I disabled the US PNAC, but the Korean one, I don't have brackets here. So, oh, they're not brackets, slashes. Yeah, I don't have slashes in here, so this is the one that's going to be working when I enable cheats. And that should, I'll show you right now. I'll show you right now. If I disable cheats, like this, and try to boot Korean version, I'll just reboot the emulator. Yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna let me bypass DNS. Sony Computer Entertainment Korea. Yeah, this is fun. So this is like pretty much all you need to do on emulator PS2. I mean emulator PS2 emulator on PC. But if you're using PS2, I think it shouldn't be that hard. You just need a physical network adapter, set the net GUI, and maybe like some people told me that you need to set a profile on your router and then connect that profile's MAC address to your PC. I don't know if that's accurate, but some people, that's how they got it to work. So yeah, that's how you do PS2 and port forward on the router, of course. Yeah, and put the DNS in the net GUI of the PS2. PS3 should be the same, just connect it, and yeah. So let's test it right now. I think it's not gonna connect. It shouldn't. Yeah, it doesn't bypass DNS. This is what it, yeah, see that? Error 864. So let's close it. Now enable cheats, which will enable this file. And just to be safe, reboot the emulator and go. So yeah, like I'm pretty happy about this. All versions of Omega Strain now work. USA, PAL, Korean, they all work. Funny thing about the Korean version, you to confirm you have to press circle, because I think Asian consoles and Asian games use the circle to confirm instead of the X button. So that's a thing. Um, okay, okay. Yep, here we are. Load game, load my saved file, play online. It should connect right now. Yep, we passed DNS. See that? Make a separate account, obviously. In the PAL version 2, separate account. And the, yeah, every save file needs a separate account. This is the login. I'll be in the command center right about now. Yes, this is the command center. Carthage, host a game. I don't understand Korean, but I just know from memory that this is when I need to press, and like you can see, it's working. So yeah, that DNS bypass, again, thank you 1UP. He provided all these DNS bypasses. Pretty amazing work, like really amazing. So yeah, that should be about it. I hope this is helpful for you. I'll post this guide everywhere. I'll post the link to my Discord, Syphon Filter Online Discord, in the description. If you want to play the game online, join us. Talk with Syphon Filter fans, set up matches with them, play on Mega Strain, enjoy. Bye, people.